Oh, good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, chilling with the one and only, the notorious Phil IMG. Philip, what it do?
What up? What up? It's a good morning, bro. Yankees got a win yesterday, and
Mhm.
we just had a good time. I got to join Smitty on the Smitty and Eddie show last night, and that was a blast. It was a little bit different being able to just talk about the whole NBA. But I'm excited to talk about our Knicks this morning. We got some OGs in the building who have been putting in work that we respect, and we are looking forward to connecting with them and just chopping it up. So we're gonna drop the intro and then we're going to have a good time. So grab your coffee and get ready for a good time, guys.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Knicks universe. KOD Nation, stand up. And all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Like I said, welcome back to another edition of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Friday, March 31st. I am your guy, Hector. And like I said, like always, I'm chilling with the one and only fabulous Phil. Philip, good morning, good sir.
What up, brother? Look at you. You got all like cleaned up and taped up. You
Word.
looking
Yeah.
fly as a mother right now.
Oh yeah,
You got
if people didn't notice, I'm in the hotel room because NYY News TV. The event is this weekend, so I'm checked into the hotel, waiting for Pete 780 right now, waiting for Jiggaman as well to come in from North Carolina, brother. I'm ready to have a good time. How you feeling?
I'm not as happy. I'm still here. I'm not with you guys this
Look,
weekend,
Phil, I
which is
got me a new hat,
unfortunate.
bro. Are you
I
happy? Did
love
you
it.
like?
I
You like
love
my
it.
new hat, Phil?
I love it. I was hoping
I
to be
was
there
I.
rocking a new hat with you, but unfortunately couldn't make it out. But yeah, man, it's funny, like the intro, we're watching the intro. You ever say something and while you're saying it, you're like, you already said that word. Don't say that word. And then you still say that word. That just
Word.
happened in the intro. So I'm like, yo, let's have a good morning. And then grab your coffee, everybody. We're gonna have a
Mm.
good morning. I was like, crap, crap. So yeah, so that was fun. And so yeah, yesterday it was funny because like I said, I was on the Smitty and Eddie show, and I want you
Yeah,
guys to
right.
watch it because Smitty asked me to cut a clip. I seriously could not say Victor, whatever his last
Wembenyamba.
name,
Wembenyamba. Let's
Wembenyamba,
practice it
to
right now.
save
Wembe. I
my
was laughing last night. Wemba. Wemba.
Wembenyamba,
What is
Wembenyamba,
that
Wemben.
behind me?
What up,
What is
Jigga?
that behind me? Oh, that's my bro, Jigga.
Wow, bro. We in the building. How you doing? What up, what up, what up, what up?
Chilling,
Yeah,
bro.
buddy.
Chilling, bro. As you can see, Jigga Man and myself, we are super excited. I picked him up from the airport today. Look at my guy back there jumping up and down. We ready to
Yo,
go.
I'm that short that you sitting. I still gotta jump over you, bro. Yo, I'm excited for this episode.
Ridiculous.
Let me get over to the other room.
Go
Get
ahead.
in the building. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm happy because my track record, everybody I meet up from the incident, I'm still taller than them, right? So my track record is running good right now. Sorry, Phil, didn't mean to say that
Well,
because
yeah,
we
meeting
met
me
up a
and my
couple weeks
brother,
ago.
that's not any competition whatsoever. But anyway, so yeah, getting that word out of my mouth was like seriously so hard. Like I could say Antetokounmpo, like it's no problem, but when it comes to Victor, like I just couldn't do it. So I posted a clip. If you ever saw that movie Office Space, where
Yes.
there's that guy Nahin Naja. He's like Nahin Naja, and then they're like looking at his file, and they're like Naga, not gonna work here anymore, so it doesn't matter. That's exactly how I felt last night, and Smitty was just like dying. So we're gonna try to just use mad simple names all throughout our episode.
Right.
Thank God for last names like Hart and I Heart. So it's like you get one of them right, you got both of them right. So
Facts.
I'm looking forward to it. And yeah,
Let's
so we got guests on the show.
let me do a little bit of the roll call before I bring up our two special guests, and I'm super excited with it because myself and Divine, we go back a while, almost 2 years. We was talking backstage, and the same thing with Shy Powers. I remember Shy Powers always being in the chat when it comes to Man, and Uncle Freezy. But let's do the roll call. We got Pudgy Nice in the building, Sir Pudgy. Know what it do? Of course, the one I just mentioned, the one and only Mr. Shy Powers is in the building. Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Hey, yo, Jacob, what it do? Jonathan is in the building. Geraldine McKive is in the building. Salute to you, Queen. Good morning. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Phil, you said it. Let's bring these fellas right onto the panel. First, I'm going to bring my guy, Divine. And Divine, good morning, handsome. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Salute to the Brew crew. Thank you for having me in the building. It is a pleasure. I can't wait to get it popping with you guys. Phil, heck, everybody, man. Appreciate y'all so much. Let's get it popping. Knicks in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. And the other half of the Knicks Real Talk, you know, there's a lot of people on the internet that got the first moniker Shy. You got Shy Power, you got Shy Legacy, you got Shy Nation, but this is the original one right here. Mr. Shy Powers in the building.
Yo, salute to the chat.
Oh, you muted my guy. Hold on. There you go.
Salute to you. Salute to the chat. Salute to you, Hex. Salute to you, Phil. My man, Divine. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's go.
So,
Let's
Hector,
go. Phil,
I do gotta correct you right quick. You know, you said the original Shy. This is the Shy that I knew in the basketball. When I first heard Shy, it was Baby making music. And it was SHAI. You know, so you can't forget. If I ever fall in love, you know, like gotta give tribute to the OGs.
Of course,
Baby making music. So,
but this is the original Shy when it comes to the Knicks universe and Knicks fandom right here, the one and only. But let's jump into the convo. Phil, you lead the way. You know, we have the Julius Randle injury that's popping up, so I'm gonna bring this up right here. And Phil, lead the convo, my guy.
Yeah, you know, so for me, you know, there's. Knicks fandom is hilarious. You know, like you say one thing and people kind of like run with what you were actually trying to say. You know, like you say something trying to be optimistic and, you know, whatever. And everyone's like, oh, you're just a hater. You know, it's like, no, that's not what I was saying. So like ever since this happened, you know, people were like, all right, this is Obi's chance to step up. And people are like, why are you such a Randle hater? You happy that Randle's injured? You that guy? All you want to see is Obi. And you're just like, no. Randle's injured regardless. Like what we're saying is now it's time for certain people to step up. So when people are like, who's going to be the guy to step up? I don't think it's a who's going to be the guy. We're going to need it to be what we saw in the fourth quarter of that last game. We need everybody to completely step up. Like I got my OB RJ shirt because they're the ones that need to be consistent. Like Hart's been consistent. Grimes is starting to fall into consistency. We've seen what IQ's been doing game in and game out. So what we need is consistency from RJ and Obi, because if they are consistent, then we can pick up the slack of what's happening. Honestly, I don't know how you guys watched the game, but if you watched it on League Pass, it was very hard to watch. Like watching Julius Randle walk off and him not realizing that the cameras were still able to catch him in the tunnel when it came to the long camera that League Pass was using. And you see him absolutely collapse once he thought he was out of view from the cameras. He tried to keep that Iron Man persona, but it did not look good when he got into the tunnel and thought he was in a safe space. He completely just fell to his knees. So I'm hoping the best for him. IQ said he was in good spirits, but what are your guys' thoughts about this Julius Randle thing? Because for me, I want him back for the playoffs. I think he needs a chance to redeem his 2020 playoff, you know, series that everyone still looks at him and goes, but that can't happen again. I want him to have the opportunity because he busted his butt this whole season. I want him to get that opportunity to show and shine in the playoffs. So what are your thoughts? I'll start with you, Divine. Like, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
First of all, you know, it was a tough situation, man. That's our Iron Man right there. You know, this cat's been, he's been our Iron Man since he's been here. And you know what, man, and things happen. It's part of the game. It's injuries. What he got to do is like, you know, just now he can work on his mind, get his mind right. You know, obviously he can't play. So it's a pro and a contour to me because now he gets to sit down mentally and work on his game. You know what I mean? Get his mind right, figure out from afar, see what the team is doing, what he can improve himself on to make himself better when he get back. obviously you can't replace 24, 10, and 5. I mean, you just can't do that. You know, but what we can do is play by committee, though. You know what I mean? This is a big time for Obi Toppin, you know, so with Julius Randle going down, it brings opportunity. And I think that this opportunity knocking out Obi's door, knocking at McBride's door, Jericho Sims. But make no mistake about it, that is a big loss for us. But I guarantee you that this team is a resilient team. They're a strong team. I think they'd be okay. But for Julius Randle, he just got to just hope the ankle heal before the first round, or at least into the first round. If we stay in the 5th spot, and I think he'd be okay. I mean, injuries happen. You know, Brunson went down not too long ago. You know, the next man up, and that's just the way the next man up. Obi got to get to play more minutes. He can get a little bit more shine. So I think we'd be okay. But for him, it's just tough, man, because Julius Randle was like, we thought he was about to play 82 games. You know what I mean? Literally play a whole season. So it happens, man. It happens. Injuries is a part of the game. There's nothing really you can do about it. But at the same time, we know he's going to come back strong and better because Julius Randle was a worker. He's a hard-working dude. His body stays in good shape. He works hard and everything. So I'm really optimistic about that. But we just got to get him and do our thing. And I think if we do that, he just work on his game mentally and sit back from afar and work on the game. He'd be okay when he get back. I think we'd be fine.
100%. What about you, Shy? What's your thoughts on it, baby?
I mean, saying I'm swinging with everybody on the thing. I think it is a big loss right now, especially going down into the last final games of the season. You know what I mean? Our number one guy, let's let it be known. You know, Jalen Brunson has done a great thing, but Julius Randle is you know, quote unquote, our captain. He leads us in the onslaught of what we do on the floor. And, you know, similarly what he does off the floor by, you know, conjugating the guys and talking with them. We have to win by committee now, you know, like Phil said earlier, that 4-man rotation of J Hard, I Hard, Grimes, IQ, and RJ are really going to have to step up now. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be somewhat what we're going to see towards the end of games in fourth quarters. So this is with the loss, we have to, you know, everybody has to contribute, all guys on all cylinders. And what's so special about, I mean, it's a big loss, but what's so special about it is Grimes right now was really stepping up his game. You know what I mean? Grimes is putting the ball in the basket, you know what I mean? And also big salute to iHeart, man. iHeart has been playing some fabulous basketball these last couple of games. You know, there's a lot of speculations out there about Mitchell Robinson being hurt and stuff like that, but iHeart is really brung his game back. So on the note of Julius Randle, we have to win by committee, you know what I mean? And all these guys got to step up. Like I said the other night with iHeart in the lineup right now, we're scoring about 8 points, about I believe it's about 8 points, about 8.5 more points per possession per 100 possessions. So we have to win these games by committee, and you know, everybody got to come out and play some good basketball.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't go ahead, Phil.
One question for you, Hector. The only thing that, you know, concerns me is what we've seen a lot in this season is when players have been injured, there winds up being like let's reevaluate in 2 weeks, and it ends up always being longer. And there's a lot of like things that we don't actually get told as fans. Like there's a lot of things that have been kind of like kept behind closed doors where we're like, wait a minute, Brunson has a wrist injury? I thought he was down because of a leg injury. You know, like why is he sitting out because of a wrist injury today? You know, so certain things like that do kind of worry me because it hasn't been up until this point actually what they thought would be in that reevaluation phase. So like they were saying, you know, like pivoting and moving and using the players and the depth that we have, like we've talked about it on the show. It's great that we're not built like a lot of rosters that pour everything into like 2 players so that when something like this happens, we have crazy depth. But what are the things that you really want to see, Hector, like from our team in the absence of Julius Randle? Like, what do you think needs to happen for us to continue to hold on to this 5th spot and move forward if he's not ready at the start of the first round?
Yeah, you know, first, before I get to your question, I want to hit off the 2 takes that Divine and Shy had. They hit it right on the head. When it comes down to the injuries happen. Every team has to deal with injury. It sucks that it happened right now, and it sucks that it was Julius Randle that the injury happened to, right? But like Divine said, it's the next man up mentality. You know, when we're at work, regardless of what job that we have, we're working at Starbucks, McDonald's, whatever. If your coworker calls out of work, yeah, it's going to make it tough during your shift, but it's just the next man up. You just got to step up and you just got to handle it. So right now, when it comes to this team, we just got to see who steps up in the absence of Julius Randle. To your point, Phil, when you said when it's the 2 weeks reevaluation, we know it's going to be longer than 2 weeks, right? Because what happens is after the first 2 weeks, he's going to be open for contact drills, right?
Nice.
That's the only thing he's going to be able to do is just contact drills, trying to come back. So it's going to need some time. I'm not sure if we're going to have him for the first 2 or 3 games of the postseason of that first round. In our favor, in order for us to even do any damage, we're going to need Julius Randle. You heard me on the last show, Phil. In order for us Knicks fans, Jiggaman's in the building. In order for our team to make some noise in the postseason, we need Julius Randle to be on his A game mentally. And now with his ankle injury, we need him to be healthy. But to your point, Phil, all these Knicks fans are upset because now we're saying it's Obi Toppin's time to shine. Absolutely. Regardless of what happens in the postseason, regardless of what happens in the offseason, now is the time for Obi Toppin to show what he actually has, whether that be for our front office or for another front office that's just watching from far away. Jiggaman, what's your thoughts on it, Papa?
Yeah, right on time for this part. So, I've been looking at this entire season like the Truman Show. Y'all remember that movie with Jim Carrey, right? I feel like everything this season has lined up like a movie, okay? Tibbs looks good because he's forced into having to try different rotations. Jalen Brunson gets injured. IQ becomes the stud that we all knew he could be. Like everything just seems to be fitting this storyline for the Knicks fans that is just crazy, right? Yeah, I think it sucks. We all agree. Anybody that doesn't think this is hurtful for our team that Julius goes down, you're not a fan. You're crazy because whatever your feelings are about Julius, that man has put a stamp and deserves every flower this season.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're still going to call him out when he has his mentals and all the stuff that goes wrong, but that's any team, any player in any organization, right? The issue here, though, is why is it that it has to be about Obi? Why does it have to be about a specific person? I'm looking at the team as a whole. Okay, when our guys are down and RJ wasn't performing, oh crap, look, we got to see Grimes do his thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
JB's out, we see IQ. So again, it's about the team atmosphere. The story's going to play out. Our boys are going to hold it down. We're going to keep that 5th seed, okay? And Julius is not going to show up for that first or second game in the playoffs. And when he does, it's going to be story time, right? It's either going to be we're down a game or we're up 2. I just feel like it's going to be that epic ending to it. But what I really care about right now is I'm not looking for a specific person to do anything. I'm looking for our squad to hold it down because, guys, even during that game, and tell me if I'm wrong, the beginning of that game, Julius wasn't even hitting.
Right.
Max.
So we were still making that comeback and doing our thing with him not being able to perform. The injury came and that sucked and made it worse. But you know what? Our squad has been showing if our guys are not there, we've got a bench that can hold it down. And what really drives me crazy, and I'll end it on this point, is how long has our fan base been saying, play the young guys? Now we playing the damn young guys, and everybody's complaining that we want to see the young guys. Like, what the hell? Like, we are in a good position, okay? Yes, I hope Julius can come back sooner rather than later, but let's call it what it is. The rest of the season, he's not here. Now we know that the guys have to step up. I don't care if it's Obi. I don't care if it's Grimes. I don't care if it's McBride. I don't care. I started the iHeart Foundation, okay? I have a fan club for iHeart. Like, if you have an iHeart fan club, then you're happy for everybody on this team. So, man, I hope Julius heals up, but let's go.
I just want to throw a question out there for Divine and Sean, and then we could circle back to Phil afterwards. But when it comes to Julius Randle and the postseason, we understand he can have amazing regular seasons, being voted for the All-Star game, et cetera, but the postseason, especially this postseason, it was going to be the litmus test in Julius Randle for this offseason. Do we stick with this guy or do we move over? Do we move off of this guy, right? Yes, you can have an amazing regular season. Yes, you can make it to the All-Star team. Yes, you can make it to All-NBA, but the last postseason you was in, it wasn't really that good. What are you going to do this postseason? And I think this injury is really putting Julius Randle in a bad situation for when he does come back, try to do too much. Divine and Shah, throw it over to you. Divine, when it comes to this injury, do you think that it's going to overshadow or hamper his postseason productions, Divine? What's your thoughts?
You know what? Obviously, when you come back off an injury, it takes a little while to get into form. You know, you ain't gonna come back the first couple of days and you're gonna be the same Julius Randle that you were before you got injured. But I think with the acquisition of Jalen Brunson changes that mindset for me. You know, going into 2020-21 in the playoffs, nobody but Julius Randle and a bunch of $5 million players and RJ and them. I think it's just so different with a guy like Jalen Brunson there now. To take the pressure off of him. RJ's a little older. Quickly's playing much better than he did in his last when he played that time with the rookie. I think him and Obi Toppin when we played Atlanta. So you got this roster is a totally different roster to me. They more in tune, more in touch. They got grit. They got grind. You know, like I said, my mom, the New York City Gritty Committee. So I do think that these are a gritty group of guys, man. I think Julius Randle is going to come back in there, take his time, because we need him. We're going to need him. We won't go far without Julius Randle. But I don't think he got the pressure that he had 2 years ago. I'll put it that way. I think it's a different with Jalen Brunson just alone, it changes the whole that whole thing. So I think he just got to come back, work his way back in. Don't let all that outside noise bother him, because what we might feel about these guys out here is not the way they feel in their locker room. These cats is locked in together. I mean, this team is a gritty team, and I've been saying it all year. Like they peaks and valleys, but they gritty. And the reason why we gritty is because of Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett. So when he come back, I think it's going to be a smooth transition. And I don't even want to count that playoff that year, because it was Julius Randle pretty much by himself. You know what I mean? For that type of level of player. Now he got a player with him that's on another level like him. So I think it's going to be different this year. So let's see, man. But I think he just got to come back with the same mindset. This is an all NBA player this year. All NBA, all star, all NBA, putting up numbers like no other. He don't get enough credit to me. The numbers he putting up is like KD and all these dudes. And he putting up that type of numbers, you know what I mean? But he
gets forgotten.
Because we got the good fans, and we got fans who might be one way, the other way, bipolar, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? But do you really look at the totality of it? Julius Randle is that dude, man. I mean, yeah, he might have some mental issues every now and then, but everybody's human. We all human, like you said earlier, Phil. We've had bad days and good days, but I think overall, he's had a phenomenal year for the New York Knicks. I think that can't go unnoticed. So let's hope he come back.
Facts.
And, he get into what he get into and just go do Julius Randle things. But I am optimistic about how they're going to play without him too. Now, Obi Toppin, they got a little bit more pace running, like Sean Powell's pet peeve is up and down the floor. It's interesting with Obi there. And I think Deuce and Brod and Sims, they just got to play with a gritty committee style, man. I think they'd be okay. But Julius Randle, we need him. Let's don't get it twisted. But just to make a long story short, I'll just hope that he's there working on his mental game, studying film, seeing what he's doing wrong. Maybe I need to get the ball out my hand when the double team come a little bit too much and things of that nature. I think he's gonna be okay. So it's a blessing in disguise to me. You can't work on your physical game, but he can work on the mental one though. And that's the most important one. You know what I mean? So I think he should be okay.
Absolutely. Shah, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, this would be actually Julius Randle's second time making it to a playoffs. And usually with when you first make the playoffs and you one of the more superstar-ish level guys, you have a rough game. We've seen it from Jordan, we've seen it from Elijah, we've seen it from a couple of guys, and I believe that this year, when he does come back, he's going to try to play more of the game that he played all year. And as from 2 years ago with that almighty 4 seed, salute to you, State, with that almighty 4 seed, Julius Randle didn't really have much to give the ball to. He didn't have players that were really knocking down shots, you know what I mean? And the things that opposing teams do to Julius Randle is double team him heavy. All year, last year, the year before, they double team him heavy because of how he pounds the ball a little bit. And I think with him coming back, I think it'll help him, like you said, everyone said, with the mentals. But I think Julius wants to come out and show out that he's that all-star type of player this year. And I think that first time that he made it to the all-star, he wants to redeem himself. He wants to be more on level with the way he scores the basketball this year, that 24, 10, and 5, you know what I mean? And I think him coming back with this little bit of break, you know what I mean, like Devon said and everyone else said about the mentals, you know what I mean? This is a way to get him more focused, you know what I mean? maybe we might not see as much chapping with the refs as much. And I mean, maybe he comes back with a different mindset of outletting the ball a little bit more, like we all said about those traps and the double teams and getting the ball to Quentin Grimes. He likes to see Quentin Grimes. He likes giving the ball to him and watching him shoot. So let's see if he can come back with a better mindset and continue playing the great ball that he's been playing all year.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, those are some great points. Like for me personally, what we started to see in these last few games is that our team really started to come back to games or pull away from games with a faster paced offense, with a lot of the, defense going down the court. And so I actually think this could be a good time for Tibbs because we've given Tibbs his respect where we need to, and then we call him out where we feel like he still gets a little stubborn in his pregame coaching as opposed to like some of his in-game coaching. Maybe being able to see a string of games where our players have to play more of a fast-paced offense now with an Obi Toppin or a Jericho Sims in as opposed to a Julius Randle. It'll show him the value of it a little more going into the playoffs so that when Ju comes back, we're not just a one-trick pony. We're able to go back and forth with those and keep teams on their feet, And so for me personally, I think this is a big time for Obi, not because we want to see Julius Randle's demise, but it kind of gives us and our coaching staff and front office the opportunity to say, okay, what are we doing with this young man moving forward? Like, are we going to embrace the player that he is? Are we going to give him these more opportunities because he stepped up? Or are they finally going to say, okay, we're going to move on and let him have opportunities elsewhere? Getting out of that like gray area is going to be very, very huge when it comes to Obi Toppin. And then the last thing, with the doubles and with Julius being gone, I think as a fan base, we also have to realize as much as we miss the fact that Julius Randle is going to be playing these games and maybe the start of it, having it happen this way as opposed to Jalen coming back earlier and Julius being out before and then vice versa, like them swapping spots. Jalen Brunson is the guy that has the experience of holding a team on his back in the playoffs. So we still have someone that's actually done it successfully. And so I do want Randle to come back and play well. But if I had to choose one of the two to be resting in the first 2 or 3 games of a playoff series, it would be Julius Randle because Jalen Brunson has handled that pressure incredibly well before. So my only question to you guys real quick is with Julius Randle, let's say we find out that he is going to miss, some of the first round of the playoffs. Does that change who you would like to actually see in the first round? Because when I look at it, I see us playing Cleveland with Randle as a great thing, as opposed to without Randle, them being a bigger squad and having, more power in the paint than, say, the 76ers that have a smaller, starting lineup that we would be able to fare better with a smaller Obi Toppin guarding, a smaller, PJ Tucker as opposed to Obi Toppin trying to guard an Evan Mobley. Like, does that change anything for you on who you would want to see in the first round if Randle's out?
Go ahead, Devon. You can lead it.
For me, I want the Cavaliers. Here's the reason why I want them. Their backcourt don't defend. I think Quentin Grimes can slow down either Garland or Donovan Mitchell. Not stop, slow him down. And even with that tall front line, but if we had to for a minute go with Randle and Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein or him and Jericho Sims, I think we still can match them physically. But here's what I like about us playing them. Evan Mobley might be a taller guy, but he can't actually run like Obi Toppin either. So it's a pros and cons. Like he might get Obi in the paint, but Obi will get him in transition. That ball come off that rebound. Evan Mobley ain't keeping up with no Obi Toppin. So I guess for me, I just don't think Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland backcourt defensively can hold Jalen Brunson and them. I just don't think there's no way they can hold. And I seen Jalen Brunson give that boy the business in the playoffs last year. So I like him against Cleveland because I don't think Cleveland got the experience compared to Philly. Philly got Joel Embiid, just him and James Harden and Tyrese Maxey and And they got a nice team down there. And Doc Rivers did a good job this year with that team because Buck was on the line as well. So I still like Cleveland just due to the fact that I think Mitchell Roberts can neutralize Jared Allen. I think our backcourt will neutralize their backcourt. If Jonathan Mitchell get 30, Jalen Brunson can get 30. If Darius Garland goes for that, the way Quentin Grimes is playing right now, I think, and then I think RJ and Okoro, I'll give the edge to RJ. I know he's a good defender, but I still think RJ can get him. My concern with Phil, I agree with you with it on this though. Can RJ get down lane against them tall guys? He's been playing good bully ball lately. I'm glad he's not shooting that 3-ball like he was, and that's why our percentage is going up a little bit more from the team perspective because he's not shooting as many misses. He going downhill, he gonna have to get his points in the paint down there. Now, when you got Jared Allen and my man, that's my only concern. But other than that, I definitely want Cleveland though. I think we can beat Cleveland. Without Julius Randle, I still think we can beat Cleveland just due to the fact we got enough firepower. We got a deep bench that handle them guys, man. So I'm pretty locked in with Cleveland. The other guys up top, it's tough. They got superstars.
Yeah. Definitely. Before Shy goes, I just want to do a roll call real quick. Shout out to the chat. Tony Crow is in the building. My man Tony Crow, the OG. Hit that like button for the boys as we continue this conversation. If you're listening for the first time, guys, hit that subscribe button. Help the guys out while we grow this channel. I got my man G Ram de la Isla in the building. G-Ram, what it do? Sunil is in the chat. Sunil. Hope all is well. TC Stills is in the building. My guy, the fly god, C-Mac is in the building. What it do, fam? Haven't seen you in a minute, but Shy, I'll let you go and then throw it over to Jiggaman. And Jigga, you bring up the Tom Thibodeau situation. I'll bring up the graphic you made. Go ahead, Shy.
Yeah, I guess I'm speaking right now from a fan's point of view. I want the Cavaliers. You know what I mean? I want them just because we didn't make the trade with Donovan Mitchell. That's basically all I want to see. I want to see and in history, you've seen Jalen Brunson fare very well against Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs, and I want to see that again. I want to see that matchup. I want to see our guys. We play Cleveland fairly well this year, and I believe that we have a chance to beat them. Now, without Julius Randle, once again, we have to play by committee, and hopefully Julius will be back by then. But at any rate, if we go into the first round of the playoffs playing Cleveland, I have confidence that the Knicks are going to come out and be energized and want to win. I mean, this team, like we all talked about, has been gritty, hills and valleys, man, peaks and valleys, and we the team stays gritty. You know what I mean? We bounce back pretty well. We go on runs pretty well. And I think, tonight's game is going to really, set a standard. You know what I mean? I think we're 2-1 against them right now. If we can, capture this win tonight, we'll be 3-1 on them, and who's going to be nervous then? You know what I mean? And with not having Julius Randle, if we can have team numbers. I always talk about team numbers. We don't need Obi to go out and score 32 or 28, but if he could get 14, if he could get 16, those are the numbers that we need him to come out here to do. We don't need him. We need him to leak out a little bit more, give us a little bit more running space, get more points off the fast break and stuff like that. You know what I mean? With Julius in the game, we're more of a half court team. So let's see if we can utilize Obi with a little bit more movement. Let's see if we could get Brunson to push the ball a little bit more, to give the ball to Obi on the break. You know what I mean? What she likes. And in the final, I'm not nervous of any team in the East. The only team that I'm a little leery about is Milwaukee. But hopefully one of these 7 or 8 teams might can knock out one of those teams, man. Those matchups that are coming up right now, maybe possibly Brooklyn against Brooklyn against Philly or Celtics is a funny matchup right there. The Raptors right now are pretty hot right now. Could you imagine the Raptors against the 76ers or something like that? So, you got these matchups after, the play-in and all that stuff to see where everybody is really ranked. We may not see another big team. We may get a couple of upsets in this playoffs in the East, you know what I mean? And if we do, it's a little. It may be a little more sweeter for us to get a chance to seeing a final round or something like that.
Yeah, to Shah's point, I'll throw it to you, Jig. I just wanted to read off the schedule. Tonight, we got the Cavs, obviously, but the Brooklyn Nets, they have Atlanta Hawks tonight. Tomorrow, the Miami Heat, they have the Dallas Mavericks. Sunday, you got the Knicks with the Wizards. You got the Brooklyn Nets. No, Brooklyn is off. The Heat is off as well. Then to close out the season, you got the Heat with the Pistons. You got the Brooklyn Nets with the Timberwolves. Then you got the Nets with the Pistons. You got the Heat having another day off. And then they close out the season against the 76ers. So when it comes down to it, we have the Wizards. We have the Cavs tonight. We have the Pacers twice. And then we have the Detroit Pistons to close out the season. I think we're pretty good. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah, I mean, look, people can say it's because we petty as fans, right? That we want Cleveland. I don't give a damn. Call me petty, okay? I want them. Just like a Yankees fan, all right? I want Astros. I don't care that they beat us. I still want them, and I want them again this year, and I want to keep facing them. And it's the same thing with the Cavs. Like, I think this is going to be another part of that situation where people are looking at it as like with the Obi conversation, right? People are looking at what we've seen from Obi right now, which is, hey, get in your corner, shoot your three. Now we're going to see Obi, hey, we got to utilize you. Get to the rim. Get down there. We're going to see that movement. So this is also a blessing in disguise. And again, not in any way taken away from we love Randle and we need him on this team. But we're forced and have to look at the situation for what it is, right? And I think this is going to force other teams to kind of be like, oh, wait, we gotta have a better strategy because they know our ISO routine. They know, we're going to bully ball down the middle, right? They know that. They're going to see a change of pace here. And I think it's going to put a lot of question marks in people's head. I think it might scare the Cavs a little bit, especially we walk away with that win tonight without Julius there. That's a statement that stays in their head for that first round. It does. And all of us chanting in the garden saying, come on, we want this. We want this. So Cleveland all day. I'm not changing my mind on that.
Go ahead, Phil.
And the only thing I'll say before our next topic is like when you look at the three schedules of the three teams between us, the Nets, and Miami, outside of this game, we have the smoothest schedule. Like we did a bumpy schedule in the beginning, and now
and Phil, not to cut you off,
game, we're good.
Not to cut you off, but we talked about, I think it was the last episode or the one before. We were at this point, we were saying, man, we would like to rest our guys, right? Granted, it sucks that it's through injury, but our conversation was, man, this should be the time after this Cavs game. We're sitting Julius, let him get some breathers, right? We're sitting Jalen Brunson. So now we're in that spot still. That doesn't change because Julius is not here. Like, I'm still in that, hey, let the guys go out there. Let's figure out the other pieces we have. Let's see what we know we're going to carry with us into the playoffs. So am I crazy in thinking, again, forget the injury, but if we pull this win off tonight, are you guys still saying, hey, Tibbs, maybe we should sit Brunson a little bit? Hey, we should sit so-and-so, lessen everybody's minutes a little bit. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I wouldn't sit him yet because the race is so close. I would wait until we actually fully clinch the 5th seed before we start thinking giving Jalen Brunson, 2 or 3 games rest. But yeah, if we clinch it, then of course, let him sit, the whole thing with Randle was we didn't see him getting, any sit time because he really wanted those 82 games. Like if it was up to him, he was going to get the 82. Like that was an achievement that he wanted to unlock. Unfortunately, right before he was able to get that, he was forced to sit. But yeah, if we get the 5th, cool. I don't want to go into a tie with any of these teams. I want to get that, 5th seed for sure. And so once we get that, if Miami and the Nets don't deliver over these next few games and we see a little X next to our standings in the 5th spot, then yeah, why not give Brunson, a few days rest to kind of just
because depending how it plays out, really it could be the next 2 games that really solves everything, right? Because we don't want that tiebreaker. That tiebreaker situation is the
I don't want the tiebreaker,
right?
We don't want the tiebreaker.
We go 3-2. I think if we go 3-2, it's a wrap. I think it's over.
Yeah.
We got a 2.5 game lead on the Nets, and we got 4. Miami is not catching us. That's out. So we got a 2.5 game lead on the Nets. We get the 46, 47 wins. I don't think the Nets can catch us. So I think we just got to pretty much stay 500, 3-2. We 3-2. We definitely got the 5th spot.
Yo, isn't it crazy, Divine, that we went through that, 3 games, right, that we lost recently? right? And that was with us having our squad, right? Minus Jalen Brunson a little bit, right? And then we were able to recover for it. So again, I'm telling y'all, I know it's like y'all think I'm about to put some tinfoil on, and I'm having like conspiracy theories about movies, but the way it's playing out, like it happened at that time where we were able to see IQ shine, right? We've seen Grimes starting to find that shot again. So even with the injury, I'm still confident for the rest of this schedule, even with the Cavs today, that we locked that 5th seed up. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, let's be super petty and get the Cavs tonight, get that win and get them in the first round, because I'm with Sha and I'm with Divine. I want Cleveland in the first round. But Sha, I'm gonna throw it over to you and pass it over to Divine. When it comes to Tom Thibodeau, right? We saw his in-game adjustments against Miami, and it was weird. The same words, in-game adjustments, and Tom Thibodeau finally belongs in the same sentence, and it makes sense. But Divine, I'll throw it over to you. How do you think Tibbs has to get creative going down the stretch and going into the playoffs with his rotations?
You know what? He been doing pretty good with the rotation to me this year, 44, 30, 33. He don't got to do too much because I think these guys just got to step up and play their game. But what I liked about the other day, I think the biggest thing I seen Tom Thibodeau do the other night, we came out in the third quarter. He called a timeout after the first play. That was amazing. I mean, he literally came out. They scored a bucket. Tom Thibodeau said, "Timeout, cut it, big focus." I think that was probably the biggest play I've seen Tom Thibodeau do this year. I think he just got, you know what, man? I just think he got to run the way he's been running. But these guys also got to put the ball in the hole, and they got to guard their man. You know what I mean? Because he can run all of the new rotations all he wants to. These cats ain't playing, scoring. It don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? I think he's doing a good enough job of coaching, whereas he got these guys locked in. They solid. What I would like to see is Deuce McBride get a little bit more burn. Yeah. I think he's important to, even with my man going down, Julius Randle, even if it's him and Obi by committee, I still think you got to have Deuce McBride in there. I think his defense is that good. You put that boy in the game tonight on Darius Garland, one of them cats with Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel quickly. So I think he just got to do what he been doing, and and hopefully the guys performing well and it don't put the pressure on him. Because sometimes Tom Thibodeau make decisions based on this cat ain't scoring the ball, or this cat not doing something, or Mitchell Robinson might got 3 fouls early, so he got to do a lot of game adjustment. But right now, with the acquisition of Jay Hart, I think it took a lot of pressure off of Tom Thibodeau. You know what I mean? I really do. Emmanuel quickly's balling out. Grimes starting to get into his zone. So let's hope that in the playoffs, he do what he did against Miami. I think that's one of the best coaching jobs I've seen Tom Thibodeau do all year the other night. So I'm hoping he can bring that same mentality, moving forward. You know what? I'm going to sit Jalen Brunson because he don't need him. He ain't got it tonight. Tom Thibodeau is not scared to say, you know what? You my guy, but right now you ain't got it. He'll sit you down. And I'm happy about that because it paid dividends against Miami. Because them cats, my man was eating Jalen Brunson up with Gabe Vincent. Said, you just coming off an injury, you rusty a little bit. I'm just going to sit you down in the fourth quarter, let these boys who've been playing run the show, and it paid dividends. So, just to make a long story short, I just think he just got to do what he did. We do what he did the other night, I think we'd be fine, and everybody contribute and step up. But I got to give him credit for the other night. But that was a really good coaching job against Miami.
Facts.
For sure.
Facts. Sha, go ahead. But before you go, Sha, my man New York Ricky said, we really reaching, but I love it. 100%. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I want Cleveland. Go ahead, Sha.
To talk about Tom Thibodeau this year, man, from coming from 11-man rotation, 10-man rotation, dropping it down to a 9-man rotation. We are 11 games over 500 this year. You know what I mean? I think it's all in that beard. I start growing my beard just because Tom Thibodeau started growing his. So I'm just gonna say, Tom Thibodeau is changed. Tom Thibodeau is changing this year. You know what I mean? He is changing. He has done things that I haven't seen him do in past seasons. Who would have thought that he would have sat pretty much his whole starting unit down? I can't really say starting unit but he let iHeart in the game the other night. He let Jay Hart in the game the other night. He let Grimes in the game the other night. He let IQ in the game the other night. You know what I mean? Who would have thought that? We would have thought that Brunson would have came back in and tried to go for those clutch shots that he usually does, but he's not back in form yet. And Tom Thibodeau, pretty much, I believe that he noticed that, and IQ was hot. So, and he let IQ run it out, and what happened? We kept a team under 100 points. We haven't done that in about 2 months. And I mean, so Kudos to what Tom Thibodeau has done for this team this year. Salute to the front office for getting the guys that we got over here, the IHards, the J-Hards, the Brunsons over here this year. I think Tom Thibodeau is just going to run what he does. You know what I mean? And I think tonight you'll see Tibbs with a little more enhancement on his beard tonight, a little bit more combed over in his hair, and I think we could capture that win tonight.
Yeah. Maybe Shaw next year he'll probably come over to the dark side and decide to shave his head. He could join us. He could join us in the phallically challenged community. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, it's crazy because all season, we went from this guy cannot learn new tricks in the beginning of the season. Like he's so stubborn that he always has to just stick to his like old school ways. Then we saw him, whether it was because his hand was forced with some injuries or this, that, or whatever, it doesn't matter. He saw some of the young guys play effectively and they continued to play. And so my whole thing has always been, okay, I'm happy with the adjustments that he's made as like our grand scheme of things. However, I need to see this guy become an in-game adjustment kind of coach, because there were times where I would see something that needed to happen, whether it was a timeout, whether it was, pulling a player that needed to be pulled or letting a player that needed to stay out there. But it went on the time that he always pulls those players at this certain part of the game. And he stuck to that. He wasn't looking at what was actually happening. And that was the things that was frustrating me. I was like, you need to be both pregame and in-game coach. And this last game, I can say, was the best game I have ever seen Tom Thibodeau coach, for multiple reasons. The first is one of my biggest pet peeves is when a player is cooking and Tom Thibodeau has to stick with his schedule of, this player always comes in at this time, and he pulls them no matter how hot that player that he's replacing is playing. He did not do that. If he would have pulled Grimes when Grimes was hot, like he typically does, we would have lost that last game, because that fuel that Grimes had is what got us started in the beginning and then kept us going in the fourth. It was that flame of Quentin Grimes, and Tibbs let him in there, which I was just like, what am I seeing? Like, is someone tape his mouth shut? Is there a reason? Like, are his hands tied behind his back that he can't point for someone to replace him? This is crazy. And then you see Hart and Hartenstein, and you see RJ and Randle and Grimes. I've never seen that kind of rotation. Like, yet it was the rotation that we needed to win. Like, without those guys, without RJ being out there with Hartenstein, iHeart, Grimes, and Quick, we would not have won that game if we would have just been like, all right, Mitch is coming back. All right, this guy's coming back. Like, he did a great job being flexible. And then here's one thing that I want people that are like diehard, like Tibb fanatics, that they got season tickets to see Tibbs and not the Knicks, and they get really upset if you have any kind of like critique. What I want to say is, this is not throwing shade at Tibbs. This is giving roses to Tibbs. One of the greatest things that I have seen over these last few games with Tom Thibodeau is that he has allowed Johnny Bryant to actually be an assistant coach and coaching with him, alongside of him. That's not saying that Johnny Bryant is the reason we are seeing these things, like some people want to twist my words. What I am saying is the whole point of having an assistant coach, the whole reason you pay someone to assist you is to allow them to assist you, like not to sit on the bench so that if you get thrown out, they can step up. That's not what they are. They're not a side chick. They're actually your helper. They got to actually be there to help you, like, do your job. He has done that. He has humbled himself to be able to say, Johnny, come up. What do I do in this situation? And that makes me go, what the hell am I seeing? Like, holy crap, Tom Thibodeau is asking for assistance. He's asking for advice. And so that for me has been why last game was the best that I've seen Thibodeau, because things that I've been dying for ever since he came to the organization, he has done in those last two games. So salute to him for doing that kind of stuff. And that's what we need in the playoffs. We need them coaching together. We need them working on the fly and not being so like stuck on pre-written down plays. If those plays aren't working, we got to switch it up. And I think that's what's going to keep us competitive.
Facts. Switch it up if nothing's working. But like Sha said, Tom Thibodeau, it's an old dog learning new tricks, right? At his age, he's 67, 68 years old. It's the first time we ever seen that man with facial hair on his face, right? This is the first time for everything, right? But also, when you talk about Knicks fans, Phil, and I get it, Devon and I, we was having a conversation about Knicks Twitter. You got to understand, Knicks fans is like a bag of party mix. You know that party mix bag that is just, it's a mixture of stuff. You open a bag, you'll get a cheese doodle, cool, you like it. You get the pretzel, you like it. Then you get that ruffle and you're like, what the hell is this? You just throw it away. That's how us Knicks fans are. It's just a mixture of us. Some of the takes you're gonna like, and then some takes you're gonna be like, what are you even talking about, right? But I'm switching up the conversation. We touched on this a little bit when it comes to the Cavaliers, but I'm gonna throw it over to Divine to start it off. When it comes to a three-way tie, right, with the Nets, the Heat, and the Knicks. The Knicks would be sent to the play-in. So, Devon, speak on the importance of locking down this 5th seed and making sure we avoid the playoffs. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
I mean the play-in. We avoid the play-in. My apologies,
Misspoke. You don't want to play the play-in because that means you're playing extra games. You know, first of all, you got to play in the play-in to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And anything can happen in the play-in because you got some good teams down there. Like Shaw said, you got the Raptors down there, the Hawks down there. The Nets can be there, or the Heat can be there. I mean, I just think that we got to avoid that altogether. Don't get me wrong, we in there, we in there, we gonna do what we got to do. But I think you got to avoid the play-in if you can, by all means, because that means you got 7 got to play this, 9 got to play this. Then once that's said and done, then you go to the playoff. Now you got to play another. So you playing more games per se. You playing more games because you got to try to get into the playoffs by being in the play-in. I think we don't need no part of that. I don't want no part of it. And I don't think we're gonna be there any. But if we were, I would be disappointed. Put it like that. I would be disappointed even without Julius Randle right now. If the Knicks fell to the play-in with 5 games left, you got a 2.5 lead on the 6th spot, and you fall to the 7th, we would literally have to lose there in every game we playing. I would be disappointed with that. I wouldn't want to. I don't want no part of the play. I think our team is too good for that. I think we just need to ride the shit, man, and win 3 more games, win 2 or 3 more games. Because somebody gonna lose games as well. You know what I mean? I would be disappointed if the Knicks fell to the 7th spot. I really would. That would be a total me. Without Julius, if the Knicks fall to the 7th seed, I would think that would be a catastrophic failure to me.
Yeah, honestly, I think it would be worse than getting swept in the first round. Go ahead, Shaw. I'll throw it over to you.
I'm not even pondering none of that. I ain't even thinking about none of that. We need one. I believe. I'm no statistician or not like that, but I believe one game out of these 5 games clinch us over the line. I think we get to the 45 wins, and I don't think Brooklyn or Miami can win 5 games straight. You know what I mean? To catapult us in the 5th or 6th seed. So I think one game is clinches us for a spot over the line, 6th spot. And 2 games, I believe, clinches us at the 5th spot. So let's get these 2 games in the next 5 games. That's all. I am not thinking about no 3-way. Anything can happen, and I do not want us to be. I do not want us to be the team that falls from grace and have to fight back up to get back to where we should have been or should have stayed.
Yeah, Shaw's like, I don't want to even put any of that bad energy into the atmosphere. You know, the moon is already going crazy tonight with a full moon. But Phil, I'll throw it over to you, Phil. Speak on the importance of locking down this 5th seed so we avoid a play-in tournament or any of that nonsense Shaw was talking about.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. Like, and if so, I will cry myself to sleep. But the importance is huge. You know, like the good thing about the Knicks in the playoffs is that it's not just one game. Like, if we have a bad game, teams have to do this at least 4 times against a young New York squad that fights, you know? So if we have a bad game, we can redeem that. That's not so gracious in the play-in. In the play-in, you have a bad game and you are gone. Like, you're done, you know? Like, it's over. So I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. And second of all, even if we went into the play-in and we kicked everybody's butt, the last thing I want to do in the first round is see the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, that is not what I want to do. So to fight for an opportunity, like, claw your way to then have to freaking hang out with Giannis Antetokounmpo for up to 7 games. That's not like the consolation prize that I want for our organization. Like, hey, congratulations, you won a kick to the head by Giannis. Like that sucks. So for me, it's important that we lock down. I think it may be 1 or 2 games that we need to fully just be in the clear.
If we win tonight
Miami
and Brooklyn loses, we clinch it tonight. If Brooklyn loses tonight, go ahead, Phil. My apologies.
Exactly. So with how those teams have played, I don't want to rely on them because one night they'll come out and they'll be guns blazing and they'll look incredible. And then the next night they'll look like utter trash. So I don't want us to go, oh, well, the Brooklyn Nets are probably going to win this game. We're good. Like, no, we need to go into every single game saying we need this game so that no matter what those teams do, we're in the clear. So that's what I'm hoping for, that we don't worry about Miami. We don't worry about Brooklyn. We worry about handling our own and just going in and kicking everybody's butt. So I want to see us destroy Cleveland tonight.
Facts. My man 19 comment said, heck with the fresh beard trim and all that. Listen, I took a bath yesterday, 19 comment. You should be proud of me. I took a bath and I was able to exit the cave that I'm always in. So shout out to me for that one.
I can confirm. He picked me up from the airport. My dude was smelling fresh. All right. How you doing?
But Jigga, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Yeah. Once in a while, once every 2 weeks, you gotta throw yourself in the bath a couple of times. Now I mean, but Jigga, I'm gonna throw it over to you right this up. We was talking about the importance of that fifth speed, but let's talk about Cleveland. We talked about it already. Tonight, it's a preview of a possible first round matchup between the Cavs and the New York Knicks. Jiggaman, I'll throw it over to you, and then afterwards, throw it over to Divine and Shy to get their take on it. Go ahead, broski.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it real short. I flew into New York. I'm already got restaurant reservations. The bar knows Hector and the crew and I are going there tonight. It's all set up just for us to enjoy a W tonight. That's it. That's it. I'm not worried. Again, I really feel like we've seen what all these pieces are starting to do, even without our main pieces in play, right? And we're just going to have to rely on some of these guys to step up. And again, I don't think, how do I say it? We don't have to say we hope they step up because they're already proven that they can. Now we're just going to see other guys get the opportunity to do so as well. So I think, again, it's going to be one of those pieces where, okay, cool. Now we know, hey, maybe Tibbs will say, oh, crap, I will give Obi some time in the playoffs. Oh, crap, you know what? It is nice to bring Sims in for a little bit. Oh, that's right. Lil McBride, that boy can play defense. So I think it's going to be more of us learning more about our chemistry and our team. And if we show that again tonight, it's a wrap. I really feel we got this W.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't get me
Trippy,
wrong.
We're going to hit you up, Trippy. Trippy, we're going to hit you up, Trippy, to link up. Definitely. If you're off tonight, we're going to hit you up, Trippy. But definitely, go ahead, Divine. What's your takes on this possible first round matchup? A preview of the first round matchup between the Knicks and the Cavs. Knock on wood. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Jig on this one, man. I just think this team tonight, they going to play for something. They've been a good road team. Knicks is a good road team. They road warriors. They literally good on the road. The Knicks can go in any arena and give you the business. We not have players up and down. Jalen Brunson been out. RJ been out. We just got that. We got a good, solid basketball team. I think they need to go in there tonight. Quentin Grimes put the pressure on the defense side in the backcourt. I think these cats gonna come out and play tonight. I think Obi's gonna wind up getting him some. I think Obi probably get you 15 tonight. I think he's more excited. I'm more excited for Obi Toppin than anybody in that game tonight because I think people don't give him enough credit because he don't get enough time to play, and because I understand why, because of Julius Randle. Randle got to get his minute because he's that good. But I think you're going to see another side of Obi Toppin tonight. You know what I mean? He get to play 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I think he's going to have a good game tonight because I don't think Mobley can keep up with him. That's just my take. I don't think Evan Mobley can hang out with Obi Toppin to be running that floor. I think that's a win-win for the Knicks. I think Jalen Brunson going to ball out against my man tonight. I think Quentin Grimes going to do what he's been doing and playing defense on that backcourt. Manu quickly going to do what he's been doing. And RJ been playing great ball the last 10 games. Let's not forget RJ been balling. But, you know, much as we get on RJ because he's not a shooter, we knew that coming out of college he wasn't a shooter. But man, that boy has stepped up the last 10 games. You know what I mean? And so if Knicks come and play their A game on defense tonight, and the most important thing, hit them damn free throws. We beat the Miami Heat by 11 points, and we missed 12 free throws.
Yeah. We missed our first 6 free throws in the game.
And, you know, even this year, the Knicks should already be at 50 wins with the amount of free throws they left in losing games.
Mm-hmm. You're right, Devon.
I think this is a solid basketball team up and down the roster. And forget, they're a young team. other than Julius Randle, because the other guys are not playing. Other than Julius Randle, everybody like 25 and down. I mean, this is a young energy team, and I think Josh Hart acquisition, his defense tonight in that game gonna be interesting. So I like the Knicks tonight. I think the Knicks go out there and give these boys the business tonight. I really believe that. I just think that this team with Julius Randle, we'll smoke him.
Yeah.
Without Julius Randle, we'll beat him. But it might be tight, but we'll beat him.
If I'm not mistaken, go ahead, Jigga.
Real quick, I saw like we had those that video that came out, right? Where iHeart was talking about Julius lifting him up when he was down earlier in the season and all that, right? So everybody has their opinions on what's going on with the locker room and the chemistry and all that. If that is true, then this squad wants to go out there tonight and they want to fight for Julius too, right? They want to sit there and prove like, yo, our leader right now, our MVP this season that y'all keep chanting for, he's out and we're going to hold him up. So they coming in, like you guys been saying all episode, with that grit, okay? And tonight, I think we really see that. I really do.
Yeah. I just wanted to point something out, and I'll throw it over to Shy, then bring it around to Phil. If I'm not mistaken, last year when Julius Randle missed those last few games of the season, I think Obi caught a 30-piece against the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. I think he scored about 35 or 36 points on Moby, like Devon was saying. Go ahead, Shy. What's your thoughts on this?
I'm like we all talked about, man. This team is gritty. This team comes out to play. We haven't really experienced a real
worldwide Mayberry.
Yes, sir. Well, we really haven't experienced a real blowout per se all season. You know what I mean? 1 or 2, but nothing that was real, significant. So I just think this team's going to come out and salute to you, Jigga, because I believe they're going to come out and play bigger because Randle is down. Want to play more faster because Julius is down. I think they want to capture this win just because Julius is down. So when he comes back, it's a little easier for him to come back and start playing his minutes again. So I'm just waiting to see what happens tonight, man. I think the team is ready to excel. Like me and Devon always talk about, we have our definites and we have our possibles. And our possibles tonight really need to step up. You know what I mean? We got Jalen Brunson is one of our definites. Now we RJ is one of our definites. IQ has stepped into that role as being a definite guy coming out there scoring about at least 17 points a night. So we need from our possibles, Quentin Grimes, our J Hards, our R Hards. You know what I mean? If we get to see Deuce tonight, you know what I mean? Deuce, get out there with Deuce tonight. You know what I mean? And all the guys that we've been kind of staying around 5-6 guys a night scoring in double digits. And tonight is one of those nights that we need 6 to 7 guys to be close to double digit scoring in those team numbers, especially our possibles. 16, 14, 19. We need the J Hards. I think he's gonna have a big night tonight. I think IQ is going to have another big night tonight. I'm hoping to see Obi get out there tonight and run the pace and get to those 13, 14 points tonight. You know what I mean? So with all that being said, man, I just think when one man goes down, next man up. That's all we've been talking about all year long. So when one goes down, the next man up. The only caveat to what I just said is I hope that it doesn't usually when we had the time when Brunson went out, it takes us a game or so before the team gets acclimated with the new positioning and the new rotation and stuff like that. But I hope tonight be seamless. You know what I mean? I hope tonight Obi comes in there and can bang off the boards a little bit, get us 6, 7, 8 rebounds tonight. Hit 2, 3, 4 3-pointers tonight. Run on the break so he can have 6 of our whatever points that we score in the fast break points tonight. Keep your hand in the cookie jar all night tonight. With those things being said, my motto: control this pace tonight. Grab our rebounds, and for heaven's sakes, hit our free throws. My goodness, we all say, man, if we hit our free throws in a couple of these games this year, we would have either beat teams or not lost games at the end of games. One thing that we have been doing lately that's good is we've been closing games out. So I hope tonight is one of those games that we could close it out and close it out easily.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw one thing. Hey,
go ahead. And I want to bring it over to Phil.
You know, and because I know our fan base, right? And I don't want anybody to think, because and tell me if I'm wrong, I think I speak for all of us here. In no way are we saying that tonight is a cakewalk. Okay. In no way are we saying we coming in here and we smashing them by 30, but we saying we coming in and we're going to give them a game, because you know what? Yeah, they may have been banged up when we played them last time, whatever excuses people want to use. Well, you know what? Those excuses work for us as well. We're banged up right now. Okay, they're going to see a whole different pace that they're used to seeing from the Knicks, because Julius isn't in there, because we're going to have to try all this stuff. So yeah, it may not be, excuse my mouth, an ass whooping. All right. But you know what? We're still going to put it on them. All right.
Yeah.
I regret.
Debbie, I want to get Phil's take, right? And Phil, I purposely saved you for last, right? Because I know the day will come where I am stranded on a desert island and I'm going to need you to be the captain to guide me home. So, Phil, guide us with this conversation home when it comes to this matchup for us. What are you thinking, baby?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to give props. I believe it was Shah. You were talking about how the backcourt of Darius, both of you guys were talking about how the backcourt of Darius and Donovan Mitchell are not great defensively. Like, they're not. Like, when things are actually moving, these guys are not good when it comes to being a defensive mind. And I think with the fast-paced offense that we're going to have to run tonight without Julius Randle, this makes it harder for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, having an ISO-focused game where all they really have to do is focus on one player. They don't have to focus on the pass. They don't have to focus on the pick and roll. That makes their jobs easier as mediocre defenders. So with Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson being our starting lineup, that's more ISO ball. That is better for poor defenders, because all they have to try to do is lock their guy down. They don't have to worry about team chemistry. Now they have to worry about the fast-paced moving of Hart in there a lot more. A lot of Obi Toppin running, a lot of Obi Toppin cutting to the three-point and then cutting back in. Grimes doing what he does and frustrates the hell out of you because he does not stop moving, like a Steph Curry kind of player. So I think the fast pace is going to actually help us for this game,
100%,
as long as we lean into that. Second, what I have to realize is, as much as Donovan Mitchell is this great player, something we have seen is that Donovan Mitchell, when he wants to prove that chip off his shoulder, he does not deliver. Like, some players, when they have something to prove, like, they come in and, like Michael Jordan, you know, everyone always said, do not trash talk Michael Jordan, because as soon as he thinks that you like undermine him or devalue him, he's going to show you why you should never question or devalue him. Donovan Mitchell, you have seen many times, he's come in, like when the first came into the Garden, everyone was like, this is going to be his revenge game. He's going to show, you know, why he should have been in New York and how that was a huge mistake not trading for him. And he didn't show up. He wanted it so bad that he put way too much pressure on himself. And when Donovan Mitchell plays his best ball is when he's just playing ball to play ball. So if he comes in with that, like, prove something mentality again, I feel like that once again benefits us, because that's when he doesn't play as good as he plays. So for us, I think we just go out there and say, all right, one of our guys is down. Now we're going to show that we are deep. That's always been what I say is our blessing, is that our bench is deep, because now we can pull from them. And so we need to utilize the players that we have, utilize the strengths that we have, and have all of our guys just do what we saw them do in that fourth quarter. They step up, and I think that we walk away with the W. So
hey, Hector,
I'm hoping it's a great night for Obi.
I need you to go, when the show's over, go and like the last 7 minutes of this segment with all of us, delete this, all right? Just in case these Cleveland Cavs fans want to get a strategy against us, all right? We laying it all out there for them. So let's delete that shit, all right?
No, you're right. You're right, because even though we don't want the Cavaliers to try to get any upper hand at all against us, but like Shah said, and I'm going to keep on saying this, I'm going to be Captain Petty. I am Sir Petty-a-Knox. Call me Pettysaurus Rex. I want the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight so bad, and I want the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, because when it comes down to it, everybody kept dissing the front office. Us fans, I don't want to say all of us fans, but a big part of the Knicks fandom was really giving it to the front office for not going out there and making the trade for Donovan Mitchell. When you take a step back and you realize you don't want to mortgage that many picks, you don't want to mortgage the farm system away, you don't want to deplete this roster when you're trying to build something that's going to attract future free agents to come. I think what the front office has done over the past 3 seasons, including this year, I know we didn't make the playoffs last year. The first year with Tom Thibodeau, we did. Last year, we did it. This year, we are laying the perfect foundation because you don't know in this offseason what's going to happen. You got rumors that Luka Doncic wants out of Dallas. So Luka may be available this offseason, right? You got rumors in Miami talking about Jimmy Butler may be traded this offseason. So Jimmy may be available. You got rumors in Philadelphia. There's rumors all around the NBA. So I'm happy that this front office didn't mortgage our future just to cave into Danny Ainge and his demands. I'll throw it over to you, Divine, because we're getting around 12:10. I know Phil has the dip, but I'll throw it over to you. How do you feel when it comes to this front office and this roster? And do you think they made the right decision not trading for Donovan Mitchell? And let's throw it over to Shy right after.
I think so, definitely. Here's why I say that. The way Clinton Grimes is playing on a $2 million contract, and he's playing on a $40 million contract, Quentin Grimes, the way he's playing right now, I see why they didn't want to put him in the trade. I see why the Knicks did not want to give that man up. He's a two-way player on a $2 million rookie contract and get busy. I wouldn't have gave him up neither. I just wouldn't have did it. Quentin Grimes, to me, if the Knicks said they didn't want to, I see why they didn't want to get his man up.
You, Al.
And I think they're going to show and prove that tonight. I want Quentin Grimes to go out there tonight and give him the business tonight. And that'll let you know why we did not put you in that trade. That's why we know it, because you can get it. You can get another Donovan Mitchell. I mean, come on. But Quentin Grimes, you don't get too many young men like that to play the two sides of the ball the way he played. He's a good player, and I think that I'm glad they didn't do it. This front office, you got to give them the kudos since they took over this thing. Think about this here before the front office came here. We was in purgatory, literally. Purgatory. You know what I mean? These cats came here in 1 year. Tom Thibodeau them took a 21-win team from a year ago with Julius Randle, and every player on that roster only making $5 million. $5 million. Julius Randle, $19 million. Everybody else, $5 million, and he won 41 games. Come on. With one player, one good player. And last year, obviously, because of Kemba Walker went down, Nerlens Noel went down, Derrick Rose went down, you had to move Alice Burks, who was firepower in the second unit, move him to the starting unit, and he still won 37 games. He come back this year. You get a point guard, which we've been cramming for the last 20 years. He got these cats already in the 5th seed. They got flexibility, 20-something draft picks, talent, expiring contracts. If this was any other front office, we probably talking about executives of the year, literally. But because it's the New York fan right now. But if this was any other team, they would like, you know what? Leon Rose, executive of the year. This cat got us in a good situation for the next 10 years. They don't got no outrageous, stupid contracts. They got 4 guys locked in at $20 million per se for 4 years. I mean, Randall, RJ, Brunson, and Mitchell Robinson. Them about the only long contracts other than Jericho Sims. So we got movable pieces. I love with this organization. That I've been a Knicks fan for a lot of years, but this is the best feeling I had as a Knicks fan. I've been here a long
100%.
Time.
Agree. It's a level of consistency, Divine, we haven't seen since the Patrick Ewing era. And even since the Patrick Ewing era, they still have some questions in the front office. I'm happy that if you look past the past 23 seasons, right, or the past 23 years, we actually haven't fired anybody in 3 seasons, which is weird, Shy. We haven't fired a coach. We haven't fired anybody in the front office. We haven't fired any of the scouts or anything like that. We're actually allowing people to go pursue other options, right? When it comes to our guys going to colleges and getting coach Mike Woodson as well, getting his opportunity to be a coach in college and stuff. So when it comes to this front office, they're doing the right things, and this is how you actually build it instead of trying to rush the process by just trading picks, by trading assets and getting a superstar that's probably going to be injured or probably just 1 foot out the door or not the same all-star they used to be. Go ahead, Shah. What's your thoughts on this front office and the importance of actually building something properly?
I mean, I've been watching the Knicks for over 40 years or so. And right now with what this front office has done in the last 3 years is phenomenal. About 10 first-round picks, about 10 second-round picks, movable contracts, playing the young players, on, like Devon said, those $2 million, $3 million deals. We have such a move right now. We sit and watch sometimes in the draft and hope for a play in the draft. I don't want to play in the draft no more. I want our picks to be movable picks where we put them in for players that we need to get. You know what I mean? To this offseason is going to be a big offseason. It's 23 offseason. We may not see some of the players that we have on the team this year. So we have to give kudos to what the front office has done to make this team a stronger team going forward. And like I said, kudos to this front office for making it easier for a Knicks fan to be walk around with a Knicks fandom on because front office last year they did a great job. We traded away our picks to get more first round picks. We haven't really lost some of our young players like we usually do. Like we kept Quentin Grimes, we kept IQ, we kept Obi Toppin. We made some great trades this offseason and at the All-Star break. I mean at the trade deadline this year. And I mean, so with all those transitions that we have done, man, I believe this front office have some bigger things that's coming down the pike, man. I can say this, and I said this before. For me, and I think this went from 3 to number 1. The trade deadline getting J Hart this year was the number 1 trade in the NBA. You know what I mean? At first I was saying KD trade and the Kyrie trade and then J Hart. Right now, the way the Knicks are on fire right now, looking at those other 2 players and the way the teams are spiraling in a downward trajectory, this J Hart pickup at the trade deadline was vital and something to help our second unit really get out and push that pace. So kudos to this front office, man, and big things to come on.
And thank you, Mark Cuban, because as you traded for Kristaps Porzingis, we used one of those picks for Quentin Grimes. We was able to move up to get Emmanuel quickly. We was able to roster space around to get Jalen Brunson. We got Julius Randle now here. So thank you, Mark Cuban, and thank you for taking Kristaps Porzingis. Phil, I'm sorry. I know KP, you got a love for him. I apologize. Go ahead, Phil.
You're good. There's a few great points that you guys brought up. The first, when it comes to the Donovan Mitchell trade, obviously, you see a star, and you get star-studded, of the possibility of having a star come to your city that you've realized that we've all been saying, why do no stars want to come to New York? All of a sudden, a star wants to come to New York. We don't get it. Obvious frustration from the fan base. But I have to give it to the front office. They saw certain things that we did not see. And I'm thankful for it because with the acquisition of Jalen Brunson in the same summer, it wouldn't have made sense to rob our franchise to get Donovan Mitchell for a 2 or 3 year contract. Because if you look at it, another scoring, like ball-driven person on our starting lineup would just be logjam. It already is at times with RJ, Randle, and Brunson. So to have another person that's like, hey, I'm best with the ball in my hand would have just been a train wreck, in my opinion. And when you look at it, what we're getting out of Quentin Grimes is exactly what we needed. We needed a player that could play both sides of the ball effectively and have streaks where he does certain things in excellence. He reminds me of a modern day Manu Ginobili, like where you're not always talking about him in the thing, but when you look at the stats, without that Manu Ginobili, you did not have that Spurs team that was so incredible. So he is that. And so when it comes to the draft, what I've noticed is I'm going to trust this front office because pulling in Josh Hart, a player that other people kind of just kept on the bench, and brought him in here and there, seeing how great of a piece he could be for us is something that we didn't just see as fans, seeing him get, 10 minutes off of a Portland bench, but they were able to see what he could bring to our table. And he's brought that and more. Like my favorite Disney movie of all times, Aladdin. I love the diamond in the rough kind of story. And that's what it looks like our Knicks are able to do. They are finding a diamond in the rough. And so when it comes to drafting, if we look at this stat, 2 of the players that are rising on our team right now, Emmanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes, were both the 25th pick in the draft. So when everybody's saying you need 1 to 3, and we're saying, okay, here, we'll trade you our 1 to 3. Give me your 25th pick in the draft. Like, we'll take one of your great players and your 25th, and we'll give you our, first 7, because we have found great players that other people could have slept on. So yes, we've missed on some players, people, will say, but we've also got some incredible players that people slept on. They didn't see the greatness of Emmanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes, and our front office did. So you got to tip your hats off to them for that.
When you look at our entire roster, and I throw it over to Jigga, besides Obi, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett, those are the only 3 players that were picked in the lottery. Everybody else is a late 2nd round pick or a late 1st round pick. Quentin Grimes, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Emmanuel Quick. Those are all players that were picked at the end of the 1st round or in the 2nd round. So when it comes to this roster construction, absolutely, Phil, we may miss it or we may strike out when it comes to the lottery, but when it comes to later on in the draft in that 2nd round, this front office have been able to evaluate true talent. Go ahead, Jigga.
Yeah, and to play devil's advocate a little bit, right? Let's be real. All right. Yes, we got to give the front offices kudos. But if this season wasn't going the way it was right now, we'd all be kind of preaching a different tune, right? We'd be still looking at the Donovan Mitchell stuff, right? So we got to give credit on the fact that they obviously know how to draft. They know how to find those guys. But to me, I put a lot of more of that on the players themselves, because it's on them to step up their game. I'm not going to look past the fact that we shouldn't have put contracts out to Evan Fournier. We shouldn't have tried to rush the process like they did last year. That was a hiccup. I'm not holding it against them, but it was a hiccup. What we're seeing now, we were hoping to see a lot of that last year when we were asking for the guys, right? But instead, they went the Fournier route, the Rose route, right? So I still, have a little bias on that part of it, where now, yes, if I wipe that away and I look at the season right now, yes, thank you for not doing the Donovan Mitchell trade. I wasn't one of the fans. You go back to episode 1. I was never one of the ones that was like, yo, give up everything and bring Donovan. It didn't make sense to me. It was still the mindset of we trying to rush the process. So the fact that it didn't happen was a benefit for us. So I really feel like the front office, when that didn't go through, they were just like, yo, you know what? We know we got all these guys. We should have listened last year and really stuck to what our original game plan was. We got excited about the playoffs. We jumped the gun and started doing all kinds of stuff. I'd rather now we're in the position where we're saying, man, who are we going to keep? Man, we can't let this guy go. Man, this guy's trade value is getting really high. That's a better conversation than, oh, man, what star can we go get? Who can we beg to come over here? Please, let us all bow down to you. I'm glad we're in the position we are right now. So, yes, I do give credit to the front office, but I want to see that consistency in this offseason. I want to see them really make the moves that make sense, stick to it, and not make it that they just fail forward because our guys proved that they can be studs.
Facts.
Facts. I'm now gonna pause my Twitter because I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of hate mail. I'll be right back.
Divine, I'll throw it to you to get your last words before we dip out, and as well for Shy as well. But before you go, Divine and Shy, please just let the people in the chat, if they aren't following you, what are they doing with their lives? But let the people know where they can find you, when you guys go live, and what's your schedule. That way they can tune into you guys. Go ahead, Divine.
Yeah, real talk. Hey, Knicks Real Talk game day. Y'all know every game day, pre-game, we get in there, try to get everybody in for the game that night. Like I said, you find us at the game. We do the game day more than anything. And we're a great show. We love going there with the chat. Everybody, man, they come in there. We interact, talk about the same things we're talking about. We just a big Nick family, man. We, the chat is where it's at for us. You know what I mean? These guys make our show. We don't make the show. They make the show. So without the chat, ain't no Knicks Real Talk.
That's
so, but you definitely can find us on Knicks Real Talk game day. And every now and then we do a post game, being if we have the time and stuff like that. But we Twitter, Instagram. I don't be on Twitter like that. There's a war room in there. So I'll
gotta be a rare breed to get on Twitter.
Yeah, get on Twitter, but you can find us on there, man. But first and foremost, we on YouTube, man. And we just do the game day thing, man. And hopefully we start getting to it more and more. We locked in right now. The season's been a blessing. We locked in. It's good to go. So we've been excited about it, man. But first and foremost, thank you to you guys, man, for allowing us to come on your platform and spread some love with you guys. How we get down, Phil, Jay, I appreciate you, brothers, man. And hopefully we'll do it again. And with the same day, our doors is always open for you guys as well. Come on down.
I mean, it just makes sense, Divine. I mean, playoff time, pre-game. I mean, it's a no-brainer collaboration right there. Lock me in. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. And like I said, Pat, before I pass the shot, we still looking good with that Dallas pick, ladies and gentlemen. So that pick still looking good to us. So we can get that pick and make up for a lot of things. But first and foremost, everybody, man, enjoy that game tonight. I got the Knicks about to run up in them guys tonight. So tonight, after y'all get off here, we'll be on at 6:30. Y'all come on down, man. We spread some more love. But first and foremost, thank you to you guys, man. We appreciate y'all. Real talk.
Nah, I appreciate you, Devon. Like always, we've known each other in this Knicks fandom for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Same thing with Shy as well. Always respected you, gentlemen, the way that you carry yourself, the way that your fandom is as well. But Shy, let the people know where they can follow you when it comes to your social, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you got going on, Shy.
Like I said, we handle the pre-games before the show. I'm on Twitter, so I know what you guys mean about Twitter. Some of the stuff that's on Twitter, but same thing. My name's Shy Powers / Knicks Real Talk. Follow me if y'all on there. And I mean, I just started like this season and stuff. I'm trying to get more acclimated into being more on the screen, and I'm still new to this. I've been doing this now with Divine for like a year now. Since last season, and the funny thing that how me and Divine, I've been watching Divine for a long time. Divine was on with the Knicks Real. With Simmons and MBK, and I followed him over. To his channel. One game of last year, I was in the chat like I always be, and I said if the Knicks won, I will come on to the pregame. To the post game. Knicks won, and I haven't been off. I haven't been off.
Let me ask you, Sean.
That's what happened.
How much easier is it to do content this season compared to last season, bro?
Let me tell you this, man. It's always easy. It's a better night's sleep when the Knicks are winning. It's a better night of sleep when the Knicks are winning. So, last year was and I'd say this too, man. The Knicks had a bad season, but they were only 5 games from being a 500 team. With Noel being out, with the tobacco of Kent Walker, with us not really having a point guard in Burks, where we could have probably started quickly over Burks and on and all this stuff. We still were only 5 games out of 500. So from a winning season to almost being another 500 seed team to this season succeeding and being 11 so far, over 11 wins over what we have had. It's so much easier to get on hand and talk about the Knicks. And me and Devon always stay positive about the play that we have from the Knicks. There's going to be hills, and we always say there's hills and valleys. And right now we're experiencing some more hill than being in the valley.
Yeah, no, definitely. And appreciate you fellas. Shout out to all the other content creators as well in this Knicks community. The content creators that paved the way from us as well. When it comes to Sims with NBK, Uncle Freezy, Blorage Tears, my brothers over at For the Love of the Game, Hardwood and L, BX Sports Jedi, CP and Nick Fan TV. It's just a bunch of them out there that paved the way for us. But Phil, Jigga, any last words before we dip out? Philip?
Yeah, I just want to say, I appreciate you guys being on. For us, our whole thing is, yes, we want to grow this channel and we want to continue to create content because we actually love it. Like the end goal is that we love it, and so for us, anytime we can bring on people that we respect, that we know have the same love for the game and the same love for the community, we want to bring them on. So we appreciate you guys coming on. We give you guys your flowers because you guys are doing it for the right reasons. There's people that their end goal is very self-centered, but there's people whose end goal is because they love the game. They love this community. You guys are one of them. So we thank you guys. Anytime we say this to the people that we love, it's an open door policy. That's right. You ever bored on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're drinking a cup of coffee and you're like, oh, hell, I need to get something out. I don't want to wait till our next episode. You just jump on. We don't even need a text or anything. You just show up, pop your face. You guys are welcome. So we appreciate you guys. We hope you enjoy the game tonight. And anyone that is not following these guys, what are you doing? Wake up, log in, follow them on Twitter. Well, follow Sean on Twitter, and then log in and subscribe, like all their stuff, boost their ratings, because we're here to build one another up. So we thank you guys.
Likewise.
Definitely.
I mean it when I say it. Let's lock up this 5th seed. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's lock in an episode pregame with the 5 of us, man. That's just going to be a vibe right there. Appreciate you guys making time this morning. Everybody in the chat, I always say it. This don't happen if you're not here. There's no reason for us to talk to each other if you're not here to hang out with us. So we appreciate you guys constantly supporting us and tuning in. Real quick, little shameless plug. This Sunday, if you're in the city, if you're in New York, Hector, Pete Simonetti from NYY News TV, we taking over Gramercy Ale House. It's free. You just got to come out. It's going to be a live watch along. They're going to be working. I'm going to be drinking.
You're going to be working too. You're going to be working too. I'm going to make sure you're working.
Yeah, I'm going to be working on that tab. Everybody come on out. Let's have a great time. Let's get this W tonight. And Hector, man, hit the outros, do all that good stuff. Salute. We out.
Hit them thumbs up, man. Run them up. Thumbs up.
Hit the like button for the boys as we get out of here. And like always, peace, salutation, and go hug your neighbors. We out.